welcome to this week's video. This week, normal run-of-the-mill catch-up, but something that I'm quite pleased about is I spent some time the other day really catching up in terms of commonplacing. I had a lot of blank space at the top of my April pages, but I did have a few things I wanted to write about. I just never seemed to kind of find time to do it in the last few weeks, but yeah, I set some time aside a few days ago to get that sorted, so I imagine that's going to be the bulk of what I talk about today. I also show you my weeks as well. So yeah, the other thing I just wanted to touch on, because I missed it last week, was my calendar pages. I've taken a bit of a different approach to them this month. Let's have a look. April. So because I introduced the hobonichi weeks into my system, I didn't need to use the calendar page in here as a traditional calendar anymore. So I've decided to transform it, I guess, into like a gratitude log. So I've got my quote in the top corner. Well, actually, I've got 2 quotes this month. And I've got my mood tracker still. And then just at the end of each day when I do my evening entry, I just put a short reference to something nice from the day or something I'm particularly grateful for on that particular day. And yeah, that's working out nicely. And even if I forget to do it for a couple of days, I can always just like look back at my daily entry and that will prompt the memory. I did do a little bit of decoration the other day, ready for May. So we've got this bluish tape down here. It's an MT tape, but I think it's originally a William Morris pattern. And then a few stickers here, which are from Stamped and Sealed Co., except for this flower, which is one from Flying Tiger. And then in terms of my weekly spreads, these have also evolved recently. I'm not sort of splitting the page up in the same way. Now I've got my media on the left-hand side. I've got some like daily like self-care type habits at the top and at the bottom, just because I typically associate some with the morning time and some with the evening time. And then during this space here, so from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, I just make bullet point notes of anything of particular note health-wise. So I kind of think of it as a health log. And then on Sunday, I just added a few stickers in that were like pertinent to the day, slash sort of filled the gaps quite nicely. I'm not determined to fill absolutely every single gap, but just so that things look balanced. And then I've put a bit of washi tape at the bottom here. This tape actually I got as a bit of a gift. Just use that as a bookmark. So earlier this week, I received some pen pal post from Georgia Journals, and she sent me a few bits and pieces alongside that, including some washi tape samples. This tape is a Yohaku one. So I've just put some of that at the bottom here. And this is this week so far. So we've got the media down the side here, the habits, and the sort of bullet point notes with some spaces. And I've put a Kill of Use tape down at the bottom here. We watched a documentary last night, so I'm just going to add that in. Yeah, so that's how those sort of pages are going. Now in terms of the daily logs, this is about where we were. Yeah, I filmed on this day, so I don't remember if I'd laid down this decoration or not, but we've got some Kill of Use tape in the background. We've got a couple of George's stickers here, and then I've got this flower sticker. I'm trying to think where this is from. It's a recent acquisition of mine. I think it might be behind mine. So the company is Kamiso, and it's a shoot to do with gardening. Because I bought some tulips on this day, and it's a tulip, so it makes sense. For this day, it was a very gloomy, cloudy day, so I've used one of my Glimmers stickers here and a couple of Megan Rhiannon ones. This day, Okay, yeah, it was quite sleepy to start with, so I've used this panda sticker. I had a donut, so we've got a donut and some bread here that I just thought looked nice. And then I just kind of felt like there was the need for a bit of symmetry, so I received a necklace a few weeks ago, and it had a thank you card, and it had this on, so I just copied and paste, cut that out. It's first thing in the morning, and I'm still half asleep, I think. Got a tip in here because we went to the cinema on Sunday and we watched one-to-one John and Yoko. So I've done my sort of thoughts there, put the sort of movie poster here, and at the back I've just added some images. So this is a picture of John and Yoko's flat that they lived in when they lived in Greenwich Village, and this is a still from one of Yoko Ono's films called Fly, which featured in the film. And then I've just added this stamped and sealed case sticker of a typewriter here. A bit less decorative, I've just used some icon stickers from Megan because I read, played some video games and watched the film, like I said. This day was a work day and it was relatively quiet, so I used these ghosts because it was kind of like me and my colleague chatting and laughing away, and then this floral piece is just decorative, and that's from Flying Tiger. This day my friend and I went for a hike in the Peak District, so I've used my mini printer to print off a couple of pictures from that day. Probably is quite a few I could have printed off, but I kept it a bit more limited. This is also the day when the post from Georgia arrived, so I've cut out the stamp from that, and then we've got a Megan star here and a pair of hiking boots from Kunst, which I feel like there was a sheet, I can't remember the name of the sheet, but Kunst has a sheet to do with like adventuring, and yeah, it's like a backpack, a water bottle, hiking boots, all that sort of stuff, so those stickers are like perfect for when I go on those walks. This day, the 23rd, was when I did a lot of the commonplace entries, so I've used one of George's stickers here that says I find something to write about, because I feel like that links really nicely. I used a bit of this tape because I kind of had it spare from when I did the May decoration, wherever it is. Yeah, this decoration. That just reminded me, I also sort of did a little bit of decoration for next week here. So I've just got the lines in at 8 and 11, and I have put the tape down, and I've got a couple of Georgia stickers here. So on Thursday we're going to be going into May, so I've put that down here, and I've got one of her gargoyle stickers here. I put the gargoyle down first and then remembered about the day of the, month of the year stickers, and it's just a happy accident that the sort of brown tones that are used here are pretty much an exact match for the one in the gargoyle, so it ended up being really nicely coordinated by total accident. And then this little strip here is just an image I found online, but I was like, this would be so cool if it was washi tape, so I just printed off like a few strips of it and just a little golden disc. Got another tip in here because I finished this biography about Rasputin. I've been reading it since the beginning of February. It's really good, but I am kind of glad to be on the other side of it now. I think it's just going to be nice to like read different things and have it take like a week or two to read something rather than multiple months. I also read a manga last night as well, called My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. So I've glued those two tip-ins together and then stuck them in. I just need to do a like print off a picture of the front cover. On this day, so yeah, I did a lot of reading, did some cleaning around the house and stuff like that, so not loads going on, but I received an order from Bronte from her shop, Dear Whoever, so I've got a little sticker there, the thank you note in here, and my desk is quite messy at the minute, but I just thought I would film today because it needs to get done without like doing loads of tidying up. So yeah, we've got some of her bits and pieces just here, and that's us caught up in terms of those daily entries. We've got quite a few nice spreads. I really like how this little corner worked out personally. So that's just like trucking along nicely. Now in terms of the commonplace, I'd done a couple of bits, and I think I showed you that in last week's video, but I was kind of behind as such. I ignore the dates basically for the commonplace, but I like to see how the pages look when they're a bit fuller like this. So we got to about here. So when I set that time aside the other day to do some writing, this is where we started off, and this first entry is about I might not pronounce it right, but historiography, which is the study of how history is like recorded and communicated. So I wrote about that, and I had some thoughts as well, so I've added some bits and pieces in the margin space too. In terms of decoration, yeah, most of this decoration was already laid down from the daily spreads, but I've also added this Moroccan sticker here. And then on this page, we've got some Coffee Monsters Co. washi. This again was from Georgia. And then I added these couple of images that I had printed on from Tumblr, I think it was. So we've got like a little, it's almost like a locket, but then there's a photograph in it, and then this sort of stairway that I kind of think is the sort of thing that you would see in a museum. Like it reminded me of the Victorian Albert Museum quite a bit. So yeah, continuing to write about historiography for a couple more pages. Within the discussion of historiography, there was a section on world history, so I've added this like atlas image. This is from Killer Views. Continuing to write about it here and here, and more thoughts. It went on for a fair while. And then the next entry, starting on the 14th, it's about Yoshitomo Nara. I'm hoping to go and see his exhibition that's happening in London during the summer. And I've kind of been thinking about his work a lot. I think I mentioned either last week or the week before, a colleague gave me a bunch of his postcards and things. He's an artist that I've liked. I think probably first came across his work when I was like 16 or 17, so it's been a good while now. So yeah, starting that entry about him. I'd gone quite hard with the decoration, like for the daily stuff, so there's not loads as such until this page. I had this cut out from the internet, just a image of one of his books. This sticker is from Sticker Magic, the crayon. And then I've added in this Yoshitomo Nara piece, which is from, what's it called? Stickers from the Unbelievably Fantastic Artists sticker book. There's a page of his pieces in here. I went for this particular piece because there's a quote from him about the pieces where the figures are wielding weapons. So yeah, that was the sort of most pertinent one. And then I've got an entry that starts here, which is about an area of the Peak District called Dove Valley and Biggin Dale, which is the area that my friend and I went for a hike. So we've got this image here that is like some really mossy ground and someone's got their bare feet all in it. This is one I pulled from Tumblr again. Plus this mushroom sticker, which was one of the sheets that came in the Midnight Tarot sort of sticker collection that Sticky Club did last year. On this page, I've got this meme that I had sort of saved aside for a long while. The top one says, the world is cruel in an unjust place. There is no harmony in the universe. There is only constant. The only constant is suffering. And then it says minutes later, and there's pictures of like trees and deer and bees and mushrooms and stuff. And the figure's saying, oh my God, which kind of like, I've not been doing too badly lately, but being out in nature is always that thing that like it does something to your brain chemistry and suddenly you're like, oh, okay, things aren't so bad. Plus another one of those stickers from Mariana Kunst of, you know, a sign telling you like lake here, forest there, that kind of thing. signpost. More on Dove Valley, and I've added this Killer Views sticker of a mushroom here. And what was quite nice is that the commonplace entry was long enough that it spilled onto the pages that had my daily entry about the hike. So then this decoration relates both to the hike and the commonplace entry about that space as well. And on this particular page, it's talking about the animal species that live there, including some rare moths. So I've added a couple of Megan Rhiannon stickers of these moths here. And then on this page, I have started writing an entry about the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice. So I've got an image of these scissors here that I pulled from the internet. It went slightly over the 4 of the 24 here, so I just used a pen. It was like a burgundy pinky red from Sarasa, which is quite close to the colour of the pages here, and I just sort of drew it back in. A little bit of that washi tape again, and then a couple of stills from the film. And essentially this is me just talking about all the things I like about the film. The entry is not actually finished yet, because I am literally just listing things I like about it. I think I'll let myself, I've kind of left it open-ended, and I'll let it maybe spill onto this page and then I'll call it a day. But one of the things I do say early on here is, I'm sure I'll end up finishing my list, starting a new commonplace entry, and then think of a bunch more stuff, but here goes. It's just, I wanted to express that stuff. So it's open-ended, just if I think about anything the next couple of days as well. And then in terms of the decoration so far on this page, I've used a few of the stickers that I got from Bronzy. So in particular, I think everything I've used so far is exclusively from the What's in My Pocket sheet. I just felt like it tied in really nicely. Like there's the ribbon here, and there's a scene quite early on where they're in a ribbon shop and one of Lizzie's sisters is sort of flouncing around the shop with her ribbons and flirting. So yeah, and the oak tree, I was thinking about when Lizzie and her aunt and uncle are going around the Peak District. And then the key was just kind of like, you know, an oldie worldie key that kind of fit. So yeah, I'm feeling much more sort of caught up and set up for with my pages. And I've just sort of realised, like, wow, we are close to May. I'm going to have to start thinking about my May mood board soon and getting all my lines drawn up. I think in terms of my layout, I've definitely made a good move in terms of not having such big margins. There's been maybe once or twice where I wished my margin, like in this last sort of writing session, where I've kind of wished it was bigger. I had maybe more thoughts to elaborate on, but generally speaking, it being this bit smaller is definitely helpful. And then I think the next kind of evolution of that that's been helpful is, I think it's good for me to have these black lines as opposed to the pale grey I was using. I feel like my pages maybe look a bit messier with the grey lines, because it kind of looks a bit more like you should just be reading the whole lot. Whereas that separation between the commonplace and the daily entry is just, yeah, crystal clear, and doing it this way around. So I think things have evolved very gradually and like piecemeal, but I think I'm on the right track with it all. And then just to show you kind of where we are with the weeks, there's not loads happening in here, because obviously you've got a spread for each whole week rather than each whole day. I think last week I showed you how things were going for May calendar, so I won't dwell on that too much, but if you didn't see that, here's a little overview. And then this is how last week finished up. So I had a couple of blank days across sort of Thursday and Friday here, so I added some stickers in. I can't remember the original artist, but this is another one from that Midnight Tarot set that Sticky Club did. And then this is a Marigo Nesuli one here. Not particularly linked to anything from, you know, what I got up to last week or anything. I think I initially picked this one out just because it like filled this space quite nicely. And then this one I picked because it had some similar tones to this. And then under my lists, I've just done a line, and then I've got this stamped and sealed coast sticker of some cinema tickets because we went to the cinema on the Sunday. And yeah, this week's kind of looking similar. I've got some stickers here. This is a Sticky Club one, this is Megan Rhiannon, and then this is a Killer Views washi tape. When it gets to the end of the day on Sunday, I'll draw a line under. I've got this image that I printed from the internet thinking that I'll stick this here depending on how much bigger this list gets. I don't anticipate it's going to get much bigger because there's stuff here that I've still not done. So rather than adding to my list, I need to focus on actually getting stuff done that I've not done yet. And then I don't think I've added anything further in terms of notes back here. Just have a look. No, I don't think I have. So yeah, that's me so far. That's how everything's looking. And yeah, I feel like I may have like ran through that. So if there's anything I've missed or anything you want me to clarify or anything, just let me know. So yeah, that's me for this week. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.